had a lot of practice with the system, volunteering my time in a school that uses that curriculum in Kumasi. That was even way before I got married.
Sometimes you feel so stressed. Sometimes you feel, am I going to make it? You can't really predict the future. So if you are not very focused and determined to get it done, you may back off along the line.
I mean, just encouraging them, because you see, when you're going through a process of transforming, it's hard. It's like there's an old you competing with a new you. It's hard for a lot of people, and this is why they give up.
The differences of our upbringing can play a huge role and can become the reason why we have conflict.
So I told them that if you don't employ me, how do I get the experience that I need to survive in the industry? And they were shocked.
On life's journey, not everyone is meant to be with you on that journey.
Be a part of SheInspires this and every Wednesday on the IMDrive on Sunny 88.7 FM, 8:30 a.m. and live on Facebook same time. Also join in on Sunny TV every Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. SheInspires is proudly brought to you by SheInspires.
Nelson Mandela said that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And my guest on SheInspires today is using a unique model of education to shape children to become global world changers. Precious Bonsu is the founder of the WIT School inside East Legon. She is also founding director of Will Communications. She's an author and she is a publisher. She's my guest on SheInspires today. Thank you to our sponsors who will help us bring you SheInspires, Duffy's Health and Beauty. Also Hotel Kasarari, Ajile Jewelry. Thank you so much for these lovely earrings. And Spectacular Faces. I love this makeup. Thank you so much for my makeup, Spectacular Faces. First Choice Hair and Beauty. And Secure. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Precious Bonsu.
Duffy's Ohimanio. Duffy's Ohima Feminine Miss Chanty. A massable so many so Emma. Ye bui and Sayente Yobia. A san CSC man cassa. Duffy Busiana Ekasi. In tear their mouth for comfort and new panel.
Duffy's shower gel and pour on money. You want to dear and a cocoa dear. What did Jaria and my natural look?
Mesu de misu Duffy's feminine cleanse and then a capsules ne CSC. And my main thing carboni be a me Jimmy who dear and cassa.
Duffy no panel. And what dance here be Duffy sana. Aba ma yenina. And kratoi FD you should my to say.
Elegance, comfort, pristine, relaxing. Welcome to Hotel Kasarere, located in the heart of East Legon, Accra. Perfect home away from home. With incomparable attention to detail, we have mastered the unique culture of Ghanaian hospitality. Treat yourself to delicious local and continental dishes from our 24-hour restaurant and take a cold swim to relieve your stress. Call Hotel Kasarere today on 0540 348876 for a truly royal experience.
Hey, stop! You little man, just see him go. This baby can run all day long. I wonder what I would do if there were two of him. I am very happy I decided to wait before having another child. Luckily, I met a family planning advisor at a salon who gave me great advice. I also claimed the Advantage Secure gifts. Now I can space the birth of my children as I want. With Secure, I decide.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Oh, finally, the week is ending. So, Akosia, what are your plans for the weekend?
You know my Saturdays, they are spent at First Choice Hair and Beauty Salon. It is almost like a family hangout. I can get my hair done together with my daughter, while my husband gets that classy grooming that makes him look so fun. Have you know that? Then we sit together and have a mani-pedi session while we just talk and sip on some juice. We all head to the spa for a relaxing massage. It is all about pampering ourselves, so Cynthia is the #1 stop shop for your comfort in beauty for the whole family. They are into beauty supplies as well, nail extensions. Hey, and when my in-law is in town, we take her along to select the latest wigs from the Asana Care collection. Variety Pani.
Hey, sir.
Yes, locate First Choice Beauty Salon on the Spintex Road, 200 meters from Zenith Bank. Call 0244 370 894 or WhatsApp 0249 970 407.
You have such a beautiful, lovely, serene place. Thank you. East Legon. I'm sure every child who walks says, "Mom, you've got to register me. We're not going anywhere else."
Yeah, they do. They run into the space as though they've been here 100 times.
Because I just felt like a child walking in here.
I know.
And this is the Witt School.
Thank you.
We're with the founder and director of the Witt School right here on SheInspires. But Precious, before we even talk about your school, so I told someone I'm going to be speaking with this lovely lady called Precious Bonsu. She says, but it rings a bell.
It does.
She was a Miss Ghana. I said, really? So I go online and I see some shows. I'm like, yeah, she was. And I want to know how did she get into Miss Ghana and why? But you really do look like, I mean, sitting in front of you, yeah.
Thank you.
Miss Ghana, that fit perfectly.
Thank you
so much. How did you get in?
So in 2012, I was a sophomore in university. I went to KNUST in Kumasi. And so we're on a long vacation.
Now I know I'm still with an educationist. She says sophomore, and here in Ghana we don't usually say sophomore.
Okay, so I was in year 2, second year.
That's what
of
we
university.
usually hear. Oh, but stick to your sophomore. That's fine with me.
So
Go
we get
ahead.
to learn a new word today.
Yeah.
So
Pulling your legs.
Year. So I was out on a break.
Okay.
Was home with my grandma because she raised me most of my life, and it was quite a boring time because it's about 3 months break. So then I was just home and I was thinking.
Your grandma was based in Accra, Kumasi.
In Kumasi.
Kumasi.
So I was thinking, what can I do with my time? Because I'm sure by the end of the interview you'd find that I am always involved in something. I like to see myself as an ant. I'm always very, very resourceful and productive. And so I really don't like the idea of sitting down and doing nothing. So I decided to fill that 3 months gap.
Okay.
So I just whispered it to myself. But here was I was lying in the house. And that's the power of the media, to be very honest. I heard on radio that, oh, Miss Ghana is in town, they're doing auditions, and in my head I'm thinking, okay, perfect timing.
Let's make good use of 3 months.
Let's make good use of it. And honestly, when I dragged my friend to go with me, I said to him, I don't really care whether they're going to think I am good for it, because I just wanted to just see what they think. So literally had it yesterday, today. The next morning was the audition. Walked into the hotel and, did the audition, and before I knew it, I was in. And now the trouble was what to tell my parents and my grandma, because I left the house as a nobody.
Which of them were you more concerned about, grandma or your parents?
I think more my parents, because grandma, it's a bit, okay, fine, if you want to do it, if that makes you happy. But my parents will ask questions because they are very thorough. They want to know why you're doing it.
Your parents were in Ghana?
Yeah, no, they were in Germany at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where I was born as well. And so I told my grandma, and she was like, okay, fine, as long as it's not going to interfere with your school, you can do that. So it was due to end in August.
What were you studying in school, actually?
Publishing studies.
Publishing studies, okay.
Yeah, so it was, I have always been about literature and writing and stuff like that. But I originally wanted to do architecture or law.
Okay.
Right? And it was right in my alley. But then the school decided on publishing, and I think that's the best accident that ever happened to me. And so when I got home, I told my grandma, so I'll be going to Accra because, you know, I'm there with this guy. And she was like, the only thing she asked me was, so you're going to be on TV? I think she was more concerned about that. And I said yes. So I think for her, she just wanted the world to also see what she was used to back at home. And that's the journey of Miss Ghana. And 10 years on.
I never had that experience. Never lived with grandma, grandpa. How does it feel like to grow up with
I
grandma?
think that if it's possible, parents should try as much as possible to push the children to their grandparents.
Why? Precious.
There is a certain spirit of God on them, which comes from experience and the wisdom that they've carried out through their lives. And also certain things that your parents may not necessarily think it's important to teach you, they would. Because they know what it feels like to be a 10-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 50-year-old, sometimes even a 70-year-old. So they've lived the generations. If you have a 30-year-old mom, she knows as much as the gap between 1 and 30.
Exactly.
But if your grandma is telling you something, she goes beyond that 30. So she knows exactly what to say to you. And beyond that, they're also more empathetic. To raising children, because some of the things that, again, parents stress about and parents think, oh, this is the end of me. Grandma knows that. She's been there, done that. I mean, if children fall,
seen her own children been there, done that.
You know, if a kid falls, the grandma will be like, oh, come on, get up. For you, you will panic because you'll be thinking, oh my God, is he going to get a scrape or something? And so I think one of the biggest blessings I had was living with my grandma, because it also teaches you not to be entitled. There's this thing that comes with when you're in your parents' house. You know you've got rights. You feel like you own this space. And so there are certain things that, you know, you're a bit more guarded, nobody should come in my space. But with my grandma, for instance, I had a whole group of children I was with because other cousins were there as well. So you learn to share, you learn to be a bit more, I think social skills, emotional intelligence, grandparents do it better.
Let's talk about the WIT school. I find it pretty interesting that you're the only school in the whole of West Africa, not just Ghana, the whole of West Africa that is implementing Finland's education model. What exactly is this model, and why do you have to go so far to go to Finland to study so you could implement this in Ghana, be the first?
So one of my favorite words is conscientiousness. It means responsibility, hardworking, and organization. And that's what the Finns stand for. They're pretty much like the ants. They don't need anybody telling them what to do before they do it. They don't have to, they don't ever feel like they have to follow trends and what everybody is doing. They believe in doing what works. They believe in getting the best of their situation and making the most out of what they have. What I've seen around is just a group of educators who are doing things, not really diving deep into what this means and what the purpose of what I'm doing is and what are the outcomes, because at the end of the day, if you finish planting the seed and nurturing that seed, the fruit will reveal what you did. And so when I was looking around for what's the best module of education should be for a child.
So did you like go on the internet and type, or you have a conversation with somebody kind of popped up?
No. So I am one that if I decide to do my PhD, I'll just type top 10, top 5, top 3 schools to do PhD in the world. I don't do in Ghana, I don't do any. So if it tells me it's in Kazakhstan,
you would go to Kazakhstan?
I would go there.
Would you go to Afghanistan?
I would.
Precious.
If
you
that's
are
where I get the best. I am actually. I think I am.
Suppose you're going to get the best from there.
You
would dare to go
I will do that, because one of the schools that I think also did well for me that I attended, I did about 9 elementary schools before I finished high school.
9 what?
9 primary schools. I went through 9 of them.
Was it because of travels, or what accounted for that?
No, my parents were be the best or with the best. And so if the best school is in Navrongo, that's where you're going.
So if like the school in Avrongo lost its ratings, mom and dad would move you to the next school. And you did 9.
I did 9 because they will look at my scores and be like, okay, the raw score says you scored 70 and yet you were the first in this subject. It means the school isn't good enough. You have to score 99.999. And although they were doing that, it wasn't raising a perfectionist. What they were doing
I'm thinking that's a lot of pressure, yeah?
No, it was all rigor. And it's crazy because when I started researching into educational models and why the top 3 work, like South Korea, Finland, and China, rigor.
Okay.
It's what differentiates them. The fact that a child will see 1 + 1 and know that it's 2 and attach the same seriousness as they would calculus question or algebra is what differentiates them, because the rest of us are looking to do the hard things and just gloss over the, we don't, but then they cover their basis, which means when they're educating a child, they're looking at the social-emotional component of the child. It's one thing being smart, So, for instance, true education is said to be the combination of intelligence and character. And character needs to be built. Nobody was born a certain way. God gives you a blank canvas as a parent or as a teacher, and your job is to paint on it. So the question is, are you going to come out with a doodle, or you're going to come up with something from Da Vinci or these greats? And for us, going to Finland was bringing home the best education possible for the Ghanaian child. Because enough of we doing school, because I say this all the time, many are in school but few are learning. It's because when you finish school, beyond your certificate, what morals do you have? What principles do you have as a person? What's your character, for instance? So many people are bright, but because teamwork, for instance, they lack that, they get thrown out of the spaces that they try to work in. So I remember so well when I was younger, I would learn a lot and I would play a lot. So that work-life balance starts from when you're a child.
Okay.
So in our school, for instance, sounds and feels as though the kids are just chilling, but they are learning more than their peers, if you ask me. Because
you seem to appear very serious, serious environment. Everybody is like,
But, even if we're playing basketball and you hit the ball on a wall, that's a chance for a teacher to teach you about the verb ricochet.
Say that again, Precious.
Ricochet.
I came with my ears like really open today, so.
So ricochet is when something hits the wall or anything and bounces back.
And I can imagine that sticking in my 3-year-old son's
it would.
Immediately.
And the fact that, we try to let them grow so old before we start introducing things to them is one of the things that I do not like, because intelligence isn't age-based. It's about how much a child can really absorb and how much they can retain, right? So sometimes when you start too late, the neuroplasticity will be low, because then your brain struggles to retain information and keep it. Right? So for us, we push the children to move, to think. Thinking is one of our pillars in the WIT school. If you can't think, then you really struggle, because we are not going to spoon feed you with any information that you're allowed to.
You're saying that with a headmistress face. Like
No. That won't happen, because if I've taught you ricochet and now we're doing art and I'm teaching you about crocheting, what do you think we're going to be doing? Because if you've done crocheting before, you feed the yarn and then you pull it out. You feed it in and you pull it out. So you can learn from the trends that every time I hear this, it possibly means that.
We have to go on a break, but before that, I want to ask, for parents who have had the experience of taking their children to other schools, have been introduced to your WIT school or the WIT school, what is that one word they used to describe what they see their children become or evolving into?
Transformative.
Transformative.
So our kids are very daring. They feel they can take on anything. They're critical thinkers. That's number one. They're problem solvers. They're always looking for 100 ways to solve one problem. They are also very open to learning more. So they build this teachable spirit from a very young age. And I think principally our children are taught to be very principled and have great character. And so their personality will really match with their intelligence, where it's like, he's so smart and he's really kind. And then there's a good balance.
This is She Inspires with Precious Bonsu, founder of the WIT School. I want to appreciate our sponsors who help us bring us inspiring women like Precious every week. First of all, Duffy's Health and Beauty. They have 2 new branches. You want to stop by, pick up your favorite products from Duffy's Health and Beauty. They are now in Tema Community 4 and also Spintex adjacent KFC. Also, First Choice Hair and Beauty, Secure, and Hotel Kasuari. Today we're coming your way from the WIT School. Precious, thank you for sharing your space with us here on She Inspires. Stay with us, we'll be right back, because I want to ask Precious, you know, the youth of today say, we hear entrepreneurs talk and say, you know, I started my business with 1 Ghana cedi. I started my real estate company with 1 small kiosk. And yet the youth feel, I have this 1 cedi in my pocket. I've had it in my pocket for like 5 years and I ain't getting what you have. We'll be asking Precious how she's managed to fund the WIT School and sustain it all this while. Stay with us right on She Inspires. We'll be right back. I'm Jennifer.
Daffy's Ohimanio. Daffy's Ohima Feminine Miss Chanty. A massable so many so Emma. Ye bui and sayente ya ubia. A san siesi man kasa. Daffy Busiana Ekasi. Yentie their mouth for comfort and new panel.
Daffy shower gel and pour na money. You want to dear and a cocoa dear. What did Jaria and my natural look?
Mesu de misu Daffy's feminine cleanse and then a capsules ne sie me. E ma me nten carbon bi a me Jimmy hu dia ankasa.
Daffy no panel. And what dance here bebre. Daffy sana. Aba ma ye nyina. Enkratoi FD ahwehwe ma gya tum say.
Elegance, comfort, pristine, relaxing. Welcome to Hotel Kasavere, located in the heart of East Legon, Accra. Perfect home away from home. With incomparable attention to detail, we have mastered the unique culture of Ghanaian hospitality. Treat yourself to delicious local and continental dishes from our 24-hour restaurant and take a cold swim to relieve your stress. Call Hotel Kasarere today on 0540 348876 for a truly royal experience.
Hey, stop! You little man, just see him go. This baby can run all day long. I wonder what I would do if there were 2 of him. I am very happy I decided to wait before having another child. Luckily, I met a family planning advisor at a salon who gave me great advice. I also claimed the Advantage Secure gifts. Now I can space the birth of my children as I want. With Secure, I decide.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Oh, finally, the week is ending. So, Akosia, what are your plans for the weekend?
You know my Saturdays, they are spent at First Choice Hair and Beauty Salon. It is almost like a family hangout. I can get my hair done together with my daughter, while my husband gets that classy grooming that makes him look so fine. Happy you know that? Then we sit together and have a mani-pedi session while we just talk and sip on some juice. We all head to the spa for a relaxing massage. It is all about pampering ourselves, so Cynthia is the #1 stop shop for your comfort in beauty for the whole family. They are into beauty supplies as well, nail extensions. And when my in-law is in town, we take her along to select the latest wigs from the Asana Care collection. Variety Pani.
Hey, sir.
Yes, locate First Choice Beauty Salon on the Spintex Road, 200 meters from Zenith Bank. Call 0244 370 894 or WhatsApp 0249 970 407.
Welcome back. This is She Inspires, and my guest today is Precious Bonsu. She is the founder of the WIT School. I'm Jennifer. So Precious, let's talk. How old is the WIT School?
The WIT School will be 5 years next year.
5 years.
June, yes.
I mean, you've heard these things I was saying before I went on the break. You know, that you go for conferences and they're here. I started with this, and you're thinking about, I've had this for God knows how long, and I can't build what this man has.
Yeah.
Is there more to it? So I want to ask you, Precious, do you have like a rich uncle, like a rich auntie, grandma left you like a lot? Because, I mean, this school is in a prime location, let's face it. And 5 years you've sustained it. I want to know how you've been able to fund it, how it started, any challenges you've had along the way, how you've navigated your way through sustaining a school in Ghana.
Great question.
Thank you, Precious.
I have rich aunties and uncles, that's for sure, but I have a bigger God, right? And a grand vision, you know, that keeps me up at night. I think that's the first ingredient. Before your 1 CD, you have to have a dream that you do not let go, that haunts you every single day. And for me, that dream was, how do I get more children to become like me as the barest minimum? I'd want them to rise 50 times higher, but at least how do I get them to my level? And I saw education as the pathway. So here's how it started. Again, I was in school. I got the opportunity to do my internship, which was another great thing about my module, my course.
Which country were you, in Ghana or elsewhere?
In Ghana, so in KNUST. And you're supposed to do a whole semester of industrial attachment with a company. So I got the opportunity to do that with TV3. So while I was there, again, I told you I don't like to idle around. So I was looking for work to do. So I was just moving around, offering what I knew, what I had picked up from school to different departments. And my boss was generous to dump all the work on me, so which was great for me because that's how I operate. So while I was there, at the end of the attachment, you're supposed to come out with a project. So you either write a book, publish something. So I wrote my first book. It's called The Magic Tooth. And so when I was presented that opportunity, I remember I had about 10 stories in mind.
Wow.
But then I told this particular one, which I thought was ridiculous, to my roommate at the time. And I said to her, Nana, what do you think about this story? So I finished saying the story and she was like, this will be the greatest book I'd ever read.
How did that feel?
It felt unreal to me. And she wasn't one to flatter me or anything. And so I wrote that book overnight, and then I sent it to another classmate of mine to illustrate. And he said to me, Precious, you only have 3 days to submit this work. Why did you wait so long? And then I said to him, because I needed the right story. If I had written the story 3 months ago, it would probably not be something you'd like to illustrate. So he did the illustration and he called me back again and said to me, I cannot put colors on it because it would take me about 2-3 days to finish. And I said to him, I'm going to call you back. So I said to God, so you're really going to let me fail this project? And he literally said to me, find a way. And so I said, okay, great. Children who are about 5-6 years old, they would love to color.
Yes.
Dennis, can you please send me the thing as black and white? Just make sure it's outlined. And then I will write in my book, this is a storybook that's also a color me book. So it was a coloring book and a storybook. So here my day of reckoning has come. Everybody has got lovely pictures in their books. They are poised because they finished about a month ago. I finished mine literally 2 hours ago. Went to print it, but I told him to make the cover colored. So that was all he did. My professor walks in. So you meet with a jury. They look at the book, and then he was like, why don't you have colors in there? I said, could you kindly open page number 1 or 2 or whatever? He said, okay. He opens it, and it says, this book is a color me book. Paint the world as you see it. And he was just like you. He was like,
because that got me. That got me.
Because I could see the tree and I'll paint it orange. In my imagination, my tree is orange and it has to be unique to me.
And last time my son painted a dog green.
Exactly, so. And it should inspire.
Chose green for the
dog. And there's when it comes to creativity and imagination, there's no right or wrong. I'm sure the day someone imagined a car or the airplane, they thought they were crazy, just as that green dog or whatever dog that your son painted. And so he was like, this is such a great idea. How come we haven't even thought about it? This is amazing, because then the children will have more reason to spend time with the book. Exactly. Because they have an activity to do. I said, yeah, God gave me the inspiration. But he didn't know that I literally was out of time. So after that moment, he called me and said to me, this is a talent you should not sleep on. So before I finished school, I had about 5 books that I had written and published on Amazon already.